This is the Garmin Lily. It provides a lot of the health and fitness functionality that Garmin has been known for, adds in women-specific health tracking, and packs it all into a small, elegantly designed smartwatch that's designed by women for women. Now, just to get the obvious out of the way, I'm not necessarily the target audience for this watch, but I like to cover all sorts of fitness technology, and I thought the Lily was a cool concept, and I do have female perspectives to share in this video, so you're not just going to be hearing my voice and seeing just my wrist. My role in this video as somebody who reviews these sort of devices is to go over all the features, as well as my overall thoughts on the Lily from the perspective of somebody who has a lot of experience with smartwatches and activity trackers. So we'll first go over getting the Lily set up, and then we'll talk about what features the Lily has to offer. The Lily comes in two different versions, a classic version that comes in 3 color options with leather bands and stainless steel hardware, and there's also a sport version that comes with a silicone band and aluminum hardware in 3 different colors. Inside the box is the watch itself, along with a charging cable and some manuals to get you started. This is the classic version of the Lily that has a black case, a stainless steel bezel and hardware, and a genuine Italian leather band. To set up the Lily, you'll simply just attach the clip-on style charging cable to the side of the watch and the watch just turns on. From there, you'll open up the Garmin Connect smartphone app to complete the setup process where it asks you when you sleep to aid in sleep tracking. Then you can enter your goals for steps for the day, water consumption, and intensity minutes, which is the time spent doing vigorous activity. And then it just syncs and you're pretty much ready to go. My first impression is that it's really attractive and it's quite the departure from a lot of the other smartwatches on the market today, but the other thing is that it's pretty darn small. So if you have a small wrist and you thought other watches were too bulky, this watch could be right for you. But again, these are just my thoughts, but let's hear from somebody else.
I thought it looked like a regular watch, which was nice. So when you think about wearing it throughout the day, if you're in a professional setting, it's something that is actually fairly high tech, but that has an aesthetic appeal that can match your workday basically.
And that's really what Garmin's trying to do with the Lily, is have something a little bit more style and not something that just looks like a sports watch. The display also isn't just the normal boring black and white, and I think that has a lot to do with that unique pattern on the display. The Lily uses a raise to wake gesture to view the display, so when you're not looking at it, it actually turns off to save the battery, but when you raise your wrist or turn your wrist, it simply turns on. To navigate around the watch, it uses a touchscreen along with a little haptic button at the bottom of the screen, and what I was impressed by was how easy it was to get around, but again, here's somebody else's perspective.
I thought it was really easy, and I will be honest, I'm somebody who has not used these types of watches very much, so I don't have this really deep familiarity or understanding of how to navigate these types of watches. So for somebody like me who's fairly new to this type of watch, I think this is very easy to maneuver and understand. There's something that's sort of built in to meet a natural intuition as to how to utilize it. So the animations I found to be really helpful.
And that's what I was impressed by as well, was the animations. Garmin seems to be getting better at having more interactive interface elements like this. For daily tracking features, the Lily tracks your steps, your intensity minutes, as well as your calories. It also collects your heart rate 24 hours a day, stress level, and body battery, which tracks your energy levels throughout the day, and this is based on your activity as well as how well you recovered while sleeping. And then you can also see the distance that you've walked or run throughout the day, and then you can also track your hydration levels with this convenient widget. The Lily also has sleep tracking, which shows you the time spent in different sleep stages. You can see your movement throughout the night, your blood oxygen saturation levels throughout the night, as well as your respiration rate. The Lily also has women-specific health tracking, including menstrual tracking and pregnancy tracking. And again, since I can't necessarily test this feature myself, I hope to be able to wrangle in a female counterpart to test these features for a future video. For smartwatch features, you can control the music that's playing on your phone, but just note that it does not have the ability to load music onto the watch itself. You can view weather information, a list of events from your calendar, as well as view smartphone notifications. And you'll also be able to receive text notifications. So on an iPhone, these are going to be one-way notifications you can view, but you won't be able to reply from the watch itself. However, on an Android phone, you'll be able to reply with quick, predefined responses. There's also a safety feature on the Lily called Get Assistance, which will send an alert with your location to emergency contacts that are set up in the smartphone app. Now, you do have to have your phone within range of your watch for this function to work, since it uses your phone's cellular connectivity to send out the actual text. As a sports watch, it has a pretty good selection of sport profiles to choose from, including walking, running, a generic cardio profile, strength training, elliptical, pool swimming, as well as cycling. And there are going to be more activity profiles you can access via the smartphone app. One thing to note about tracking outdoor activities, if you want to collect speed, distance, as well as your location, is that you will need to have your phone with you because the Lily doesn't have built-in GPS, rather it uses connected GPS from your phone. So to start an activity, you'll press that little haptic button on the bottom and then press on activities. You'll just choose whichever activity you'd like to do and then just double tap on the screen to start the activity. When you're done, simply just double tap it again to stop, and then you can save or discard that activity. So here's an indoor cycling session I did where it shows the calories burned, total time, and average heart rate. And then you'll also be able to see your chart of your heart rate as well as time spent in different heart rate zones. For the heart rate accuracy, here's that indoor cycling session where it was quite accurate throughout almost all the ride. At the beginning of the ride, it was a little bit slow to pick up the rise in heart rate, but that was just for about a minute. After that, it matched up really well with a chest heart rate strap as well as some arm heart rate straps. There were a few spots here and there where the heart rate recorded was about 4 to 5 beats per minute higher than the others, but overall, it produced some really good results. The Lily also has Garmin's strength training activity profile, which is designed to automatically track your reps and attempts to automatically recognize what type of exercise that you're doing. It's really easy to use on the watch, where all you do is just double tap on the screen to get started. It will then start to count your reps, and then you just tap this little arrow at the top of the screen once you're done with that set. It then proceeds to a screen which allows you to edit the number of reps if for some reason it's off. And then it enters a rest period, and then you just press on the arrow again when you're ready to proceed on to the next set. It works quite well with counting the reps, and it's pretty reliable in that department, but I found the exercise recognition to not be all that great, but you'll be able to edit all this after your workout in the smartphone app, where you can edit the exercise reps as well as enter the weight for each of the sets. There are a few limitations with the activity tracking with the Lily that you should take note of, though. So the first of which is that it doesn't have the onboard GPS, so you will need to have your phone with you to track speed, distance, as well as your location for outdoor activities. The second is that you can only have 7 activity profiles available on the watch at one time, and you'll actually edit this list through the smartphone app and not on the watch itself. It would just be a lot more convenient if you could edit that list on the watch itself. But the other strange thing is that there's 2 activity profiles, walk and run, which are kind of like hard-coded, and you can't even remove those from the list. So I would say if you could just have all the activity profiles available on the watch at one time, that would be pretty awesome. But one more thing to be aware of is the classic version versus the sport version, and this mainly has to do with the leather band. So the leather band is really nice and all, but it's not necessarily going to hold up well to lots of moisture like swimming or if you tend to sweat a lot. The bands are interchangeable, but they're not designed to be switched on a daily basis, so it's not like you could purchase the classic version with a leather band and then switch out for the silicone band just for working out. However, let's say you already own a Garmin 45, Venue SQ, or a Forerunner 245. Well, what you can do is you can actually have both of these watches living under the same Garmin ecosystem. So you could be wearing this watch throughout the day and it'll still track your heart rate, your steps, your calories, all that good stuff. And then you could switch out just to your sport watch just for your workouts. And all that information will be collected in the Garmin Connect smartphone app. But overall, I like what Garmin's done with the Lily. They've put a lot of health and fitness functionality into a nice, stylish little watch. Anyhow, if you liked the video, make sure to hit that like button down below and also subscribe to the channel for plenty more fitness and sports tech videos that are coming soon. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.